throughout the entire history of my YouTube channel, I have always used pillows to soundproof my videos. Now there's nothing worse than an echoey recording. I absolutely hate the way that sounds, but unfortunately in the early days I didn't have the money to get some form of professional soundproofing solution. So I got the pillows from my bed, I put them around my desk, and it seemed to work. But now that we're in the new place and I've just hit 1.5 million subscribers on the gaming channel, I feel it's probably about time that I improve the soundproofing solution just a little bit. So the chaps from Arrow Zoom have sent over 24 massive soundproofing tiles that we're hopefully going to get stuck up on my walls. As you can see, I've gone for the pyramid formations. We've got a bunch of wedges going through there. And what this stuff does is it basically dampens down any echo. So right now I'm recording without it, and as you can hear, my voice is kind of bouncing off every single object in the room and going back into the microphone, and it sounds just a tiny bit messy. Whereas with this stuff, hopefully it should end up sounding really quite crisp, which means that it's perfect for like musicians, artists, producers, gamers, and of course YouTubers like myself. Now this is available in a ton of different colours, shapes and sizes. I'm boring, so I've gone for black, but you could go completely crazy with this stuff. And the good news is that it's fire retardant, which I'm too scared to test out in my new studio, but also you can get 10% off using my discount code down in the description if you do fancy getting some for yourself. So I guess project number one was to move all of my equipment away from the wall so that I had decent access to it to allow me to stick up all of the soundproofing foam. Now this seemed like a really simple idea in my head, but unfortunately I have quite a lot of electronic equipment, and those electronic equipment items have quite a few wires, and because I'm not particularly brilliant at cable management, they all feed into a big mess down at the back of my desk. So I had to do a lot of unplugging, a lot of untangling, and a lot of removal of items so that I could shift my desk into the middle of the room to give me a decent amount of space to work with. So all of the furniture has been moved, my room is now looking like a bomb's hit it, and I'm about 1,000,000 degrees. These studio lights, they're very good, very powerful, nice and white, I like them a lot, but they just get so hot so quickly, and that's not very useful for little old jumpered me right here. But we do now have a completely clear wall, so we can start chucking up all of the studio tiles. The only issue was, I had no clue how I was actually going to start chucking up all of the acoustic tiles. I had no way of sticking them onto the wall. So I went down to my local craft shop and I picked up a few different solutions. Now the first one that I tried was actually the one that I stuck with, which was putting little sellotape tabs in each one of the corners. They were like double-sided foam tab type things. Now then I would place the foam tile onto the wall, and for the time being it was sticking. I did about half of the wall until I started moving around. Gradually each tile fell off, and in the end I was replacing the tiles as fast as I was able to place them, which not particularly brilliant. So I tore all of those down and I got some carpet adhesive from downstairs. Now I am just going to warn you, if you're doing this yourself, I wouldn't necessarily suggest using carpet adhesive unless you're really sure that you want this wall to be soundproof, because once you do this, it's fairly permanent. Once I'd found my rhythm and I was getting into the swing of things, progress was coming along really quite nicely, and before I knew it, I was already in the corner. Now the corner is a little bit more challenging because of course these things aren't bespoke and made for me. There wasn't quite enough space between the previous acoustic tile and the wall to fit in another column, which meant I had to do a little bit of cutting and chopping. Now I have to say, you guys can see from the footage, I didn't do the best job of this. First off, I was using a kitchen knife, which really isn't a good start, but also my line cutting skills just seem to be all over the place, so some of those lines are a tiny bit wavy. But it worked, all of the bad ones are down at the bottom and out of sight, and as we go up, they get progressively better. So after about 4 or 5 hours of cutting out the foam and sticking it up to the wall, we now have ourselves a fully soundproofed area, and I have to say it looks absolutely fantastic, far better than the pillows ever did. So I just want to say a massive thank you once again to ArrowZoom for sending those over, and if you do want to check out all of their details, they can be found down in the description. But as I'm sure you can tell, things have not got any colder in this room. I have been working in extreme heat for the best part of 4 to 5 hours. I'm smelling like an athlete. I'm probably not looking my finest at this point in time, so I think I'm going to head off and have myself a cold shower, and I'll catch you in the next episode of the Studio Project.